Imagine a world with no war, no hunger, no grief, even no pain. It sounds perfect, right? Until you realize it's also a world where you cannot choose your love, where your job is assigned to you, and where babies and elderly people are quietly killed when they are no longer considered useful. And that world is the giver. And it wasn't made up out of the thin air.
Okay, so here we go. This is Lois Lowry. She was born in 1937 in Hawaii, and because of her father served in the US Army, she grew up moving constantly. So she grew up from New York City, and then she moving on to Pennsylvania, and even Japan. So yeah, being perpetual new kid taught her something valuable. She learned to watch how societies enforce their unspoken rules. In one school, girls wore their socks scrunched down, and in the next, socks were folded over, and it mattered. And that hyper awareness of conformity never left her.
She studied writing at Brown University, left to get married and raise four children, and eventually finished her English degree at the University of Maine. She began writing full time in 1977, and by 1973, she had written over 20 books, including Number the Stars, which won the Newbery Medal. Then came The Giver, and it changed everything.
But where did the idea come from? So Lyrie's father was aging and losing his memory piece by piece. And one day, she was flipping through a photo album with him when they came across a picture of her older sister. Her name is Helen, who had died of cancer years before. Her father looked at the photo and said, I can remember her name. And then Lowry told him, and then he asked, whatever happened to her? And then Lowry had to tell him that his daughter was dead. Then a few minutes later, he saw another photo of Helen and asked again. So, yeah, Helen's death was always new to him every single time. And then on the drive back to the airport, Lori began to wonder, what if we could take away the painful memories? Wouldn't that be a kindness? But then she realized you cannot remove pain without removing joy, and you cannot erase grief without erasing love. And that insight became the entire soul of the whole book.
The war around her shaped it too. The Giver was written during the ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, where Serbian forces committed atrocities against Muslims, a systematic violence, concentration camps, and enforced isolation. The community in the Giver, sealed off from the outside world to preserve its purity, mirrors that reality uncomfortably well. At the same time, America was debating Dr. Jack Kevorkian, a physician who advocated for assisted suicide. The releasing room in The Giver, where lives are ended by needles, it Laurie's direct response to the debate pushed to its darkest extreme. The community also used drugs to control emotion and steerings as sexual desires. It's a society where individuality is sacrificed for the illusion of safety. And underneath it all sits the shadow of history's great totalitarian regimes, Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, where governments control information, eliminate opposition, and quietly remove those deemed undesirable. In The Giver, no one can read books except the dictionary and the book of rules. Weak babies are killed, so are the elderly. So are those who break too many rules. Lori didn't need to name these regimes. The structure said everything.
In the world of literature, The Giver belongs to a long tradition. Dystopian fiction that includes Orwell 1984, Brave New World, and The Handmaid's Tale, all stories of perfect society that turned quietly monstrous. But unlike those books, The Giver was written for children because Lowry believed young people deserve to think about hard things. It worked. The book sold 12 million copies, won the 1994 Newbery Medal, and inspired a wave of YA dystopian fiction like The Hunger Games, Divergent, and more. And yet, beautifully, ironically, The Giver, a book about society that bans books, become one of the most banned books in America. Parent wants to shield their children from its theme of death, euthanasia, and authority, which is exactly what the elders in the novel do.